Welcome. So, because it's our first session together, I would like to begin with a traditional Sanskrit prayer known as the student-teacher prayer. And so at home, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the words in Sanskrit and English. Hopefully it'll come through into the chat so that you can follow along. Don't worry about the Sanskrit. It's going to be a little daunting to try to pronounce everything. There we go. You see it? Everybody see it in the chat? So what we'll do is I will sing it in Sanskrit, and then we can say it together in English. So we'll have the people at home on mute though, so it doesn't sound like utter chaos all at varying times. But what this prayer does is it invites us to practice together in the spirit of mutual support and cooperation and create a community together. So I really love the sentiment of this prayer. So come into your yogic seat, long spine, root down through your bones, your tailbone into the earth, shoulders back and down, so you're going to draw them up to your ears and then draw them back and roll them down and just notice how that heart spreads. So we begin our practice with an open heart. Reach up through the crown of the head. Without lifting your chin, keep the chin level or slightly tucked so the back of the neck stays long. But allow the top of the head to reach to the sky. The tailbone and sitting bones to root into the earth, so you are connected to earth and sky, and your own heart center is that bridge point, that meeting point between heaven and earth. Take a deep breath in, filling all the way up into the chest. I'm hoping that the folks at home can hear the harmonium just through my little head mic here. Exhale with a sigh, releasing anything that you were doing before you came in here. So we really let go and allow that exhale to help us to land in sacred space, in a place of sanctuary together. And again, another deep breath in. Exhale, release, let go. Any tension in the body that doesn't need to be here. And another deep breath in, filling all the way up into the chest. And exhale, release anything in the emotional realm that you can offer out. Any heaviness in the heart. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And together, let's say the English. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we create strength among one another. May our study be filled with brilliance and light. May there be no obstacle between us. Om, peace, peace, peace. And together one more time, let's share the mantra Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, that prayer for peace. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. And once again, refresh your posture, lengthening through your spine, inviting a little space between each of the vertebrae as the spine gets longer and more lifted. And through the nose, begin to invite in your long, deep yogic breaths, filling up belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling, emptying chest, emptying ribs, emptying the belly last. And letting the navel draw in toward the spine at the end of the exhale to completely release the breath. Sometimes the instructions for yogic breathing can sound a little complex, filling up in 3 parts, emptying in 3 parts. I had one teacher, one of the great yoga masters of our time, Eric Schiffman, who said that the easiest, simplest way to think of a yogic breath is to take in the breath like you're inhaling the fragrance of a rose. So that invites us to breathe in that spirit of savoring and delight. This breath that is extending your life for the next few moments, really savoring and delighting in that. And when we inhale the fragrance of a beautiful flower, when we take that in, we kind of want to hold on to it for a moment. So at the top of the breath, let there be a little pause. So you can really enter into that quality of savoring. And then when we exhale that beautiful fragrance, you can allow your breath to just make that ah sound. You can start just doing an exhale with an open mouth. Just that experience of delight and of joy. Except what we're taking in is the fragrance of our aliveness, of prana, life force. Another savoring breath, inhale, taking in that fragrance of your life force. Pausing at the top. Hold on to it for a moment, let it light up every cell, and then exhale. And when we exhale with that ah, notice how there's a natural little bit of contraction in the back of the throat that slows down the breathing a little bit. That's your ujjayi breath, a little narrowing of the airway. One more. Savor, take in that fragrance of this day, of this moment. And continuing to fill up all the way into the chest. But this time, let that ah be with the lips gently closed. So it becomes internal. Just a little whisper sound in the back of the throat. And then with eyes open, with a soft gaze, let the next in-breath lift the arms, reach out to the horizons, turn the palms up in that spirit of saying yes to this moment, to this day. We're lifting the hands to the sky at the top of the breath. Exhale wide and down. Syncing up your movement and breath. Just this lifting and lowering of the arms, seated sun breath becomes a moving meditation. Letting the breath and the movement and the attention come together as one flow. Always staying with that spirit of savoring and delight. And on the next inhale, let the arms stay lifted, reach through the right, reach through the left, beginning to open through the side body, bringing some space between the ribs. And then we can take it into a side bend. I will mirror you here. Let your right arm lift up and let the left palm root down to support you, and take it into a nice, delicious side bend to expand to the rib cage. Let the ribs smile open. Breathe into those right fingertips as you reach long and away. Exhale, release. Notice the difference between right and left side. And then other side, lift, find length and space. First, unshrug your shoulders. So notice if there's a tendency to go into scrunchasana here, and lower it down. Just reach long through the fingertips and take it into your side bend. Reaching both sit bones down into your mat or blanket or cushion. Reach long and away. Exhale, deepen that side bend and release. Both arms reach to the sky. Reach through right, reach through left. Exhale into a twist to your right. Long and elegant lift in the spine, up through the crown of the head. Look over your right shoulder and lead with the heart. Let the head follow. Inhale up to center. You don't need to go to your deepest twist this time. Exhale to the other side. We're just warming up, opening up the spine in its rotation. You might even notice a few little snap, crackle, pops as the spine aligns. Inhale up to center. Let's do one more twist each side. To the twist. Lengthening up the crown of the head, leading with the heart. Looking over your right shoulder. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale completely. Inhale up to center. Exhale, hands come down in front of you and roll over the knees into table, or any way that feels comfortable to come into your table pose. And find your cat-cow spinal waves, rounding the spine on the exhale, drawing the navel in toward the spine. Inhaling, dropping the belly down toward the floor. Heart forward, shoulders back. Syncing up movement and breath and attention. Staying with that spirit of savoring. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. If it feels good, you can curl your toes under to stretch the bottoms of the feet. You can even come up on fingertips on the exhale to get a little more lift as you round the spine into your cat stretch, spreading the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, dropping belly, press the low belly toward the thighs. Lift the chin so that you open through the throat on that inhale. One more round. Exhale. Just inviting flexion and extension of the spine. Let each movement be a celebrative exploration of what's alive in your body today. And then bringing the spine to neutral, hands come forward just a couple of inches. Begin to circle the hips. And let those circles get wider and wider as you lubricate the hip joint and explore the sensation in the hips this morning. And send the breath to any places where there's tightness or restriction or stagnation. Try circling the other way. And it's already getting warm in here. I'm going to put the fan on so we have a little bit of okay, there we go. All right. And then bringing the shoulders to center, bring the heart forward, in front of the upper arms, bend the elbows, and just let the pelvis hover over the mat. And if you can, bring your big toes to touch. We're coming into the seal pose here, which is a deep stretch to the front body, a lovely back bend. So you want to try to lift the head and let the throat open to draw the shoulders back, shine the heart forward, bring the heels as close to the low back as you can. Just let the front of the pelvis hover. Big breath in. Exhale. Now we'll take it into the opposite movement through a cat stretch and into your child's pose. Just let the sitting bones sink back toward the heels. Reach the hands forward. You can have your belly resting on your thighs or between your thighs. Just let yourself take a moment to melt into your child as the forehead comes down toward the mat. And we'll take a few more rounds of that. Inhaling, rising up through table, taking it into your seal pose. Remember to bend your elbows a little bit, draw the elbows and upper arms in toward the ribs, open the throat, lift the chin. Exhale, opposite stretch, round the spine, tuck the chin, sink back to child. Do one more round on your own. Inhaling, arching the back one way. So one of the things we do in these yoga warm-ups and in all our postures is we pulse the spine in one direction and then find the complementary movement. Rising back up into table, curl the toes under, press down and forward into the hands, coming into your downward facing dog. So to start, take your dog for a slow walk. Let one heel press down into the mat, lengthening that one leg, lifting the hip on that side. So get a little swagger as you walk your dog. Lifting one hip, the lengthened leg, let the opposite knee bend gently. And you want to press down and forward into your hands so that you're bearing the weight in your fingers and the roots of the fingers rather than the heel of your hand. You want to press in the hands and fingers, non-fingers, as if you're sending your fingers into the earth and stretching the mat as if you're actually trying to tear the front of your mat off. And that's going to send your shoulders back to toward your hips. Now you don't need to lift the palms of the hands. You just want to bear the weight more in your fingers, but you don't want to bear the weight in the heel of the hand. So you want to send those shoulders back. And at any point in downward dog, if you begin to feel fatigued, if it feels like it's tiring on the shoulders, you can always come down into table or child. If you want to take it on a little more vigorous expression, then you can come forward into your plank pose, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, arm bones stacked, firm core, firm legs, and exhale, downward facing dog. So you can take that into a flow from plank on the inhale to down dog. And when you make that transition, rather than walking your hands forward, it's better to slide your feet back as best as they'll slide on the sticky mat. So find that flow, syncing up movement and breath. Plank. If you need knee down plank, feel free to take that to down dog or child if that serves you better. And then come into, on the next round, take a moment to hang out here in your down dog. If you can, send both heels down into the earth or take a bent knee variation. In either case, you want to have your low belly pressed toward your thighs. So you have a long line from your hips through your fingertips. You don't want those shoulders over your wrists. Beautiful, beautiful. Let the heart melt down toward the place between the feet. Lift your tailbone, so tilt your tail back, tilt your pelvis so that your low belly is being sent toward your thighs. Nice. From here, we're going to walk the feet between the hands. So you can walk and come up onto your fingertips into a forward bend, or you can take a little hop if you enjoy giving it that little bit of flair, landing with bent knees and just come into your forward bend. Let the head hang down. What are you saying yes to today? Find that yes in your movement. What are you letting go of today? Find that no. And just to open to the mystery of it all, find whatever maybe looks like. Maybe making an infinity sign or a whatever that head wobble would be for you. And then softening the knees, release the hands, and we'll rise up like the sun. So press the feet into the earth, reach out again, rising sun breath. I'm just gonna fix my screen here. Bring the palms together, exhale down to the heart, down the center line. Beautiful. Feet hip width apart in mountain pose. Toes pointing straight ahead. Outer edges of your feet are going to line up with the outer edges of your mat. Softness in the knees here for a moment as we take some standing sun breaths. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend the knees, round the spine. Once again, practicing syncing up, movement, breath, and awareness. And the next time you lift, grab opposite wrist with your fingers. So let the right fingers grab the left wrist. I'm mirroring you again here. And take it into a standing half moon variation here. So you take that crescent moon shape in your body, lengthening through the whole left side of your body. And release, exhale. Inhale, reach up, take that other side. So you get that side stretch again. Expanding, fanning the ribs open. Inhale up to center, release. And one more each side. We don't really get to stretch the side body that much in our daily life, so it's nice to do it on the yoga mat. Inhale up to center, release. And then just take a moment to roll the shoulders. What do you need to let roll off of your shoulders today? I'm going to turn up the fan one more notch. It is, yeah. And let it roll forward. Whatever burden you're carrying on your shoulders today. Interlace your fingers behind you. Let the heart blossom open. Like that fragrant flower that we inhaled at the beginning of our practice. Squeeze shoulder blades toward one another. Let the clasped fingers reach to the back end of your mat and then lift the pinky side of the hands a little more. Just take a moment to breathe in and out of the center of the chest. Those of you who've been practicing with me for a while know my favorite poem by Rumi that says, open up the window in the center of your chest and let the spirits fly in and out. Big breath in, and then bend the knees generously and fold over the legs. Keep the belly and legs connected into standing yoga mudra. Reach the hands high, squeeze the shoulder blades together, let the head release. Try to draw the hands up overhead and toward the front of your space as much as they'll go. Now, if your hands are tight, I'm gonna give you, Jen, this strap. So you might only just need a few inches of strap, just enough so that you can straighten your arms, maybe a little more. Yeah, that'll give you a little more satisfying range of motion. You want to draw the shoulder blades toward one another. Release the hands, let them frame the feet, and just enjoy another breath in forward bend. And from here, we're going to take a half lift, flat back. So Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend. Slide the fingertips up the shins, halfway, flat back. So you want to unshrug the shoulders, draw them away from the ears. Let the upper back be flat, so notice if there's any rounding. And notice how the core activates to support the lengthening of the spine from tailbone to crown. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees as you need to. Let everything go. Feel free to make a noise when you find that forward bend release. Another half lift, sliding the fingers up the shins. Flat back, navel draws in and up. Spread the sitting bones apart like you're a peacock fanning your feathers. Wide. Exhale, fold. And then from here, drop the hips halfway, bring the weight a little more into the heels, and bring the hands to prayer position in front of the heart. Soften the shoulders. We're going to hang out for a few breaths in chair pose. You're always free to come out whenever you need to, but this gives us the opportunity to practice that savoring, even in moments of challenge, in moments where we have a fire under our butt. Ujjayi breath, so a little contraction in the back of the throat so the breath makes a whisper sound. One more delicious breath. And then rising sun, enjoy the release as the legs lengthen, palms come together. Exhale, hands return to the heart, and just feel the buzz, noticing the life force moving through you, the increased heart rate, the warmth, the tingling, whatever sensations of aliveness you feel. All right. at the front of your mat, feet hip width apart. Once again, mountain pose, so your shoulders are aligned over your hips, your knees are aligned over your ankles. Spread the toes wide, lift them, spread them wide, and then place them down. And that's going to engage the arches of the feet. Hands in prayer, take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. You know, actually, before we start this, what I want to do is invite you, if you find that blocks are helpful, you might find it useful to have your blocks just in arm's reach. It's optional. Not everybody uses blocks, but if you're going to use them, it's just nice to have them placed there. So hands in prayer, softening the shoulders down, wide open heart, tailbone rooting down into the earth. Take a deep breath in, rising sun. Reach through the right, reach through the left. Hips press forward and a little bit of a standing back bend, just turning your heart, your hands, your gaze to the sky, saying yes. Exhale. Fold, taking a deep dive, bow to the earth. Take a half lift, slide your fingertips up your shins. So the fingertips press into the shins just below the knees. That invites a little more length in the spine as you take this half lift. Exhale, fold, hands frame the feet. Step back with your right foot, a leg length, and lower the right knee down. So you want to slide that right knee back. If anybody needs a pad, and if you folks at home, if you need like a knee pad? Yeah, knee pads can be really, all right, okay, all right. All right, so slide that right knee back, plant the left knee over the ankle so that that lower leg is straight up and down. You want to be on fingertips or blocks right under your shoulders. If you're using your blocks, bring them right under your shoulders so you're not using extra energy to have your hands out to the side to reach for them. Just take another breath to release and lengthen through the psoas muscle, a hip flexor on your right side, and if it's available to you, activate the inner thighs toward one another, come up into your kneeling warrior, spin the pinkies inward, drop the shoulders. Lift through the navel, so this is a nice stability balance practice right here. If you need to, you can always have your blocks underneath your shoulders. Exhale, hands meet behind you, clasp your hands, shoulder blades toward one another, let the spirits fly in and out. Big breath. Exhale, release. And bring your hands under your shoulders, draw the hips back. We'll take a runner's stretch. You might want to slide your left foot forward just a little bit. Point and flex just to get that calf muscle to wake up. You can either have your hands on blocks or fingertips. Square your hips and shoulders to the front of the mat. And then keep the foot flexed, lengthen out, and bow down. Just letting the heart lead. So you're going to have a flat back here and folding from the hip crease. So you want to draw your shoulders up and back a little bit so that there isn't any rounding. Think about that space between your tailbone and your crown extending a little longer. Leading with the heart, just take a moment to melt into every exhale into that fold. On the inhale, you back off and lengthen. Just enjoy the juiciness of this hamstring stretch. Breathe and enjoy. One more breath. And then rolling the left foot down, come into your lunge again. We'll do a press twist. Place your right hand on the floor underneath shoulder, left hand on your thigh, and press into both hands to invite a rotation of the spine, stacking left shoulder on top of right. Look up at the sky if you can, lengthen from tail to crown. Release, framing that front foot, step back into your plank pose. We're going to take it into the connecting vinyasa now. So from your plank, either long plank or knee down plank, you're going to lower knees, chest, and chin. Let the butt be up in the air, toes curl under. You might want to walk your knees a little closer to your hips. Snuggle the arms in toward the ribs. It's like you're looking under the couch here. All right, so you don't need to have your knees quite so close. So you can just be like like that. So, and you want to have the toes curled under, making contact. Beautiful. Draw the heart forward from here, coming into your cobra. We'll start with baby cobra, shoulders draw back, hands underneath the shoulders. Press all 10 toes into the mat. Activate the legs so the kneecaps lift, the quadriceps engage. So you don't want to support this pose with pressing. You want to use the back muscles. So you should be able to play with releasing the hands and either just reaching them back, or if it's available to you, to clasp hands. Yeah. Just waking up the muscles in the back that give you this lift, keeping toes down. That's the tricky one. Bring the hands under the shoulders. And if it's available, you can play with a full cobra. This time you will give a little press into the hands. Shoulders soft. You're going to keep the pelvis down, though. What often happens in cobra, I'm going to lower the music here. It's a little bit distracting. Yeah. What often happens in cobra is that people lift their pelvis off and straighten their arms. So you want to keep the pubic bone rooted down and the elbows slightly bent and tucked in. Legs active. Exhale, release. Press up through your table, maybe taking a cat stretch complementary, and back into downward facing dog. Take another breath here in downward facing dog to fully land in it, pressing down and away with the hands, melting the heart to the place between the toes, lifting the sacrum, tilting the next in-breath, bring your right foot in between your hands so that you come into a low lunge on this side, sliding left knee back, melting the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the spine from tail to crown. Take another moment to land here to make sure that your knee is planted over your ankle so that lower leg is straight up and down. Breathe into any places where there's tightness or restriction. And then as the inner thighs come toward the center, if it's available to you, take it into your kneeling warrior, or also called Anjaneyasana. Pinky spin inward, heart spreads, tail roots, crown lifts to the sky. Again, you're finding that energy of being the bridge between heaven and earth, right there in your heart center and belly center. Exhale, interlace the fingers, open the heart, let the spirits fly in and out. Big breath in. Exhale, release, and fold back into your runner stretch. Slide the right heel forward a little bit, square the hips, and shoulders point and flex. Either fingertips or blocks supporting you under your shoulders. Yeah. And then keep the foot flexed. Lengthen out. On the inhale, you find more length from tail to crown. On the exhale, you fold from the hip crease. Just kind of offering yourself into that edge, to the place where the sensation is strong and alive, but not painful. So you're just going to that place where you're going, oh yeah. If it feels painful and you notice that you're grimacing or beginning to tighten, especially in the face or jaw or shoulders, then back off, be a little more gentle with yourself. Couple more breaths here in this runner stretch. And when you're ready, you can roll that right foot down, back into your lunge, knee over ankle, press twist. So you're going to press into the right palm into your thigh, left palm into the floor, roll the right shoulder over the left, and continue to lengthen out like an arrow from your tail out through the crown of your head. Release. Frame that front foot, step up into a half lift, grow long tail to crown, flat back, feel the abdominal muscles, draw in toward the center to support the lengthening. Exhale, fold. And soften the knees, rising sun, palms come together, exhale, back to the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms reach and rise. Reach to the right, reach to the left, arch back, heart, hands, gaze to the sky. Exhale, slow dive into forward fold. Inhale, half lift, fingertips slide up the shins, navel draws in and up. Exhale, fold, frame the feet. Inhale, step back with the left foot this time. This time I'm going to invite you to come into a high lunge. So if you want to, you can keep that back knee down. Otherwise, keep the back of the knee crease lifted to the sky. Press out through the heel. Unshrug the shoulders. Lengthen, long line from your heel through the crown of your head. And then we'll take it into a twist here. Press the left palm down under the shoulder. The right hand reaches to the sky, taking it long and wide into your revolved side angle. Beautiful. Keep your knee over your ankle on the right side. Exhale, release. Frame that front foot, then step back to plank. We're going to take it through that vinyasa flow. Knees, chest, chin on the exhale. Butt up in the air, toes curl under. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah. Inhale, heart forward, shoulders peel back, toes plant, lift either in baby cobra or full cobra. Just find the delicious back bend that feels yummy for you. Bend your elbows, draw your shoulders back. Your pelvis is still lifted up, so see if you can, place it down. So you don't have to go so high. I would say just go, that's better. Point your toes, that's better. That's a good way to start with your cobra. Exhale, through table, come into your downward facing dog. And press down and away, and spread your cock feathers. On the next inhale, step your left foot through, come into your high lunge here, or low lunge if you need to take it. You can have blocks under your shoulders to support you if you need to. Long line through the body from your crown to your back heel. And then take it into your revolved side angle. Press down into your right hand, left hand rises to the sky. You've got a long axis from your lower hand to your upper hand, and long through the body from crown to heel. Exhale, release. Square the shoulders and hips to the front. Step up, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees, arms reach and rise. Palms come together. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Just take a moment to notice how you feel in your body. Notice the quality of the breath. Take another deep breath in and out in that spirit of savoring, inhaling the fragrance of being alive. I think what I can do here is give us a little more air. Like that. All right. All right. We'll take it into another round. This time we'll do some standing poses. Inhale, arms reach and rise. Arch back, heart, hands, and gaze to the sky. Exhale, bow to the earth. Take a half lift inhale to create a little more length and really feel the belly muscles corset the spine here. Exhale, fold. Step back with the right foot. You're going to be on the ball of your foot in that high lunge. And this time, inner thighs activate toward the center and balance play. Rise up into a balancing warrior one. Beautiful. Your front knee is over your ankle. Your tailbone is rooted down, so you're lengthening through the low back. Rooting the pelvis into the earth, reaching to the sky. Again, finding that meeting place between heaven and earth. Feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg. And then from here, if you want to play with it, you can also take that same open heart, and a little balance challenge, if your body is open to it, is to arch back and look up at the sky. Staying steady and balanced in this balancing warrior. Beautiful. Releasing, open your wings. Now there's two options here. We're going to come into a crane pose. So I'm going to face forward so you can see me this way. So crane wings, soft elbows, soft wrists. And you can either come up with feet together first and then lift into crane, or those of you who are a little more experienced can spring right off into flight. Yes, bringing your right knee to hip height, the standing leg is slightly bent, just not even bent that anyone can see, just a micro bend, just unlocked. Let the facial muscles be soft, elbows, wrists, shoulders be soft. Feel the wind beneath your wings. If you need to steady yourself, you can always dip a toe in the water, be the crane dipping your toe in the water. You can always, anyone who needs to, bring a fingertip against the wall, so you can always go off your mat and be against the wall. And from here, I'm going to invite you to come into your expression of tree pose. So bringing the foot inside the standing leg, so your right foot is going to press into either the inner thigh or into the calf, not on the knee. And you want that knee to go right straight out to the side so it becomes a hip opening practice here. Keep the tailbone rooting down, pubic bone forward a little bit. Bring the hands to prayer. Gaze is cast downward and forward. Find a drishti point, a place where you can focus your attention. And if you want to play with different mudras, you can come into your temple mudra with the pointer fingers to the sky, or you can open your branches, celebrating all the lush greenery, and taking another breath here. We're going to step back. We're going to take a quiet leap of faith. So back through crane, shoulders forward, and step back into your balancing warrior here. Beautiful. And then we're going to take it into another twist. Option here, if you want a more vigorous practice and it's part of your repertoire, take it into prayer twists. So hands come together, upper right elbow, outside left knee. And away. Sky, or you can splitting the arms, revolve side angle. You want to just keep the hips low, so you have one long line from your heel to your crown. Release, frame that front foot, step it back to plank, flow it through your vinyasa. Now those of you who are experienced yogis and enjoy doing chaturanga up dog, I'm not going to teach that today, but if it's part of your repertoire and you want that little more vigorous exploration, you can take that. We'll land in downward facing dog. Beautiful. Right. We're going to step through with the right foot. If you'd like to take it in a three-legged dog, you can lift those right toes high, keep the heart low, keep pressing down and forward into the fingers, long and away, and then bring the shoulders over the wrists. So you're coming into like a one-legged plank as you step through into your high lunge. With the right foot forward, rising up into your balancing warrior. See how it feels on this side. Square the hips, root the tail, soften the shoulders. See if there's places, every time you come into any pose, especially the warrior poses are about strength and focus and fortitude, inviting in those qualities of courage, determination. But you also need to find where you can soften. Is there a place where your body is holding tension unnecessarily? Perhaps in the face, perhaps in the shoulders, perhaps in the belly. Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose, little contraction in the back of the throat so the breath slows down and warms up. You can play with that, hands clasped behind you, arch back, if that's available. Otherwise, just clasp the hands and keep your shoulders over your hips. You don't need to do this arching back if that feels a little challenging today. Releasing, opening your wings. So now, we'll take that flow on the other side, spring off into flight in either one step or two, knee at hip height. Standing leg has a micro bend, and your foot is just dangling under your knee. And a gentle elegance in the shoulders, elbows, wrists. Softness in the face as you fix your gaze a few feet in front of you on the floor in your drishti point. How do you feel the wind beneath your wings in your life? How do you feel carried by grace? Long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, taking it into your expression of tree. At any point, if you need to ground yourself, that's absolutely fine. Root the tailbone down, wide open in the hips. So let this be a hip opening practice as well as balance play. Opening fingertips to the sky if that's part of your exploration. There's all the different ways that you can play in tree. You may notice that one side is easier than the other to balance. That's true for me too. I'm a lot more steady on my right foot than I am on my left foot than I am on my right. We're going to take it back into that leap of faith. So back through crane, and then slowly, a whole leg length back. Let that ball of the foot land, hands to the sky. You're back in your steady and powerful and graceful warrior, balancing warrior one. Palms come together, and either take prayer twist, draw the shoulders away from the ears, press into the palms to get a little more leverage, a little more rotation, or take it in one hand down, one hand up. Big breath, long and wide. Exhale, release. And step up into a half lift. Flat back, exhale, fold. Sit down in your chair one more time. Palms come together. And savor this. Notice if your shoulders are rounding forward to see if you can draw your heart forward toward your thumbs to bring the shoulders back. Soften around the face, the jaw. So just want to invite you to bring your shoulder, yes. And then arms circle up, big breath in, palms come together, exhale down to the heart. Bring your hands down, turn the palms open, and just take a moment to feel what's alive in you as you stand steady and comfortable and or mountain pose. An hour goes by very fast, so we have, we may go like 5 minutes over today because we had a few introductions. I would like for us to turn sideways on your mat, to take a moment just to explore some other standing postures in a side flow. So let from heel to heel your feet be a leg length apart, toes turn out 45 degrees, open wide into your 5-pointed star. Reaching out through the fingertips, out to both horizons. Tailbone down into the earth, crown to the sky. Big breath in as you open into the spirit of expanding beyond your skin. You are bigger than who you think you are. And on the exhale, bend the elbows and take it into the goddess pose. So your thighs are going to come to parallel to the floor, tailbone roots down, your shoulders over your hips. Imagine that your back is against the wall. So you don't want to have any lumbar curve sticking your tush back. You want to have a flat back as best you can, and the outside of your thighs reach back. This is a great leg strengthener. Great, invoking the creative power of the goddess within us. Inhale, opening up, our expansiveness, heart as wide as the world. Exhale, goddess, our creative energy. That's all the ways that we show up in the world powerfully and creatively. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. See if you can hold for 3 delicious breaths and savor it. Savor the goddess that's alive in you. Use this as a moment to invoke the quality of goddess that you want to draw into your life right now. The goddess of compassion, perhaps. The goddess of wealth. The goddess of vibrant health. The goddess of creative expression, the goddess of inner strength. With your breath and with your posture and with your mind, invoke her. Inhale, open up. Once again, 5-pointed star. Pivot on the heels so the toes point straight ahead. Your outer edges of your feet are going to line up with the outer edges of your mat. We're going to come into a flat back, half forward bend. Airplane arms. If you need to press into your thighs or bring your hands to the corners of a block, that's absolutely fine. Just again, telescope the spine so that from root to crown you grow a little longer, and let those belly muscles activate in toward the center to support this pose. Bring your shoulders in line with your hips, flat back. Reach the crown of the head forward, and when you are ready, come into a full forward fold. Your hands can come to the mat or to a block. Prasarita Paratanasana. And I want to give you a moment to explore here. So you can either just stay in this pose and enjoy the stretch in the backs of the legs, enjoy the lengthening of the spine. Maybe you want to take the hands forward into a wide leg downward dog. You want to draw the hips back and the fingers forward, and the heart sinks down to the place that's centered between the feet. Or maybe you want to take it into a twist, pressing one hand down and one hand up, keeping the back flat, shoulders in line with the hips, taking that twist on each side. Maybe you want to take it into a side lunge, flowing side to side, lengthening one leg. If your knees say yes to this, that's one way that you can play here. So just take a moment of your own exploration in this wide leg forward fold. Breathe and enjoy. And bringing the hands back under the shoulders. Lift up halfway, pivot on the heels so the toes turn out 45 degrees, bend the knees, roll up one vertebra at a time. Coming back just through your goddess, find a little dancing moment as your goddess. Just let any expression of fluid movement come out as you play with goddess, and then opening out into 5-pointed star. Big breath in as you expand, the heart as wide as the world, palms come together, exhale down the center line to the heart. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, the feet to hip width apart. And let's take it down onto the mat into your child's pose for a moment to ground and center. And take a moment of rest. Rising up into table pose, I'm going to invite you to come into the pigeon pose. Some of you might prefer to do this on your back, but I'm going to demonstrate I can demonstrate both. With the traditional pigeon, you're going to move I'll mirror you here, your right knee behind your right wrist. Try to wiggle the right toes a little closer to the left hand and slide the left foot back. So your knee is going to be going out at an angle to the side. Now, if you have a lot of space between your buttock and the floor, that's where you're going to need to take a blanket. I recommend a blanket rather than a block, because this will mold to your body a little bit more and give you a little bit as the hips release. I'm going to give you a cushion, one of these. You know what's really nice? This cushion here, because it's thin at one end and thick at the other end. So we can place that right there. Because if your body, how you doing, Jamie? You're supported. If you have a lot of space there and your body doesn't feel supported, you won't be able to really release into it. Square your shoulders to the front. You want your hands under your shoulders, fingertips or fists. If your palms are flat, you're not going to get that nice front body stretch and back bend. So yeah, shoulders back, heart open. Your knee and toes are straight down on the back leg, and that back leg is straight back behind you. So take a nice big breath as you find that elegant back bend. And then from here, we'll take it into either coming onto forearms, Sphinx pose. Everybody okay in pigeon here? Okay. Because the other option is to do, I think most of you folks at home know this, supine pigeon, if that feels better for you. But today, I'm going to guide you through just the variations of resting pigeon here, which could be arms 90-degree angle, the elbows underneath the shoulders, forehead on a block or on the floor, or hands forward, forehead on the floor, coming into a full fold over your leg. Taking 3 deep breaths here. And just notice where there's strong sensation and send the breath into the place where you're feeling the juice. Always backing off if it makes you grimace or tighten up. You want to just dance with that experience of the edge, the place where the sensation is strong and you're feeling that oh yeah feeling, but not where you're feeling any pain. And then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Curl the back toes under, and you can either come into your table pose, maybe take a cat-cow to release this, or if it feels good, press back to downward facing dog. And if you're in downward facing dog, because of time, we didn't have a chance to do the one more sequence through this. So we didn't get to do that 3-legged on the left side. So if you need to come into that 3-legged dog here to make that transition, you can do that to come into your pigeon pose. Otherwise, just slide your left knee forward behind the left wrist, wiggle your left toes a little closer to your right hand, square the hips, support yourself underneath your left buttock, arch back, find that delicious front body stretch. Let the solar plexus light up, the heart expand and shine forth. The shoulders melt down the back body like you're sliding your shoulder blades into your back pocket. And when you're ready, taking it into your expression of a resting pigeon, either on forearms. You can either place your forehead on the fists or on a block, or fold forward completely. And as you release into this pose, you might notice that your buttock on the left side actually has softened a little bit closer to the mat. So maybe you can even unfold your blanket a little bit if you need to. Long, slow, delicious, savoring breaths that draw the breath from the belly through the rib cage up into the chest. Pausing at the top to enjoy that moment of fullness, and then exhale with that inner sense of, it's so good to be alive. And that's really what yoga is about. It's not about being super bendy or putting your foot behind your head. It's about cultivating that essential sense of aliveness that is our birthright. Hands come under the shoulders, slowly lift up. And whatever prana response, in other words, finding a posture that's a nice complement to this pose. Maybe it's downward dog, maybe it's cat-cow, maybe it's child, to release your pigeon experience. And then when you're ready, I invite you to come onto your back, hugging the knees into the chest, rock side to side. For our inversion today, I'm going to invite you to do the bridge pose, which is also a nice back bend chest opener, but gets the hips lifted higher than the heart. So I invite you to bring your feet down, hip width apart, so the heels line up with the center of the buttocks, lower legs straight up and down, knees over your ankles, hands down by your sides. You might want to start with just a few lifting and lowering movements of the spine, syncing it up with your breath. Inhaling, rolling up the sacrum, the low back, the middle back, the upper back, one vertebra at a time to get your hips as high as you can get them, higher than the heart, heart higher than the head, and then roll down one vertebra at a time. So the idea here is that your spine, each vertebra of your spine is like a pearl in a string of pearls, and you're lifting and lowering that string of pearls one at a time. And just that isolating of each vertebra one at a time actually tones the abdominal muscles, because it takes a certain amount of control to do that. And we want to align the heels with the knees and with the center of the buttocks. And when you're ready, taking that lift and holding it so that the hip pointers reach to the sky. You want to tuck your shoulder blades toward one another so the heart spreads. Your palms can be down beside you, or interlace your fingers under the body and walk the upper arms underneath the body. And that's going to help support you in your lift. See if you can hold for 3 to 5 deep breaths here. Expanding through the heart, pressing the top of the chest toward the chin. Activating inner thighs toward one another so the knees stay planted over the ankles. Pressing down into the feet, down and forward through the balls of the feet will help you get a little bit more lift. Breathe and enjoy. For those of you who need a gentler practice, it's fine to place a block underneath the sacrum and just let the hips be supported as they're lifted higher than the heart. Keeping feet hip width apart. Beautiful. So bridge, the back bend heart opener. It also nourishes the thyroid gland as it creates a little compression there, a little squeeze and soak in the throat area, and is also a gentle inversion. When you're ready to release, rolling down like that string of pearls, one vertebra at a time, unclasping your hands. And once again, hug the thighs in toward the chest in the pose we call Apanasana. And we can take it into Happy Baby. Either grab your, just above your ankles or below from this vantage point, or peace fingers to your big toes. Soles of the feet face the sky, or hands clasping the outer edges of the feet. Bring the knees on either side of the rib cage. Press the sacrum down into the mat. Let the thighs come parallel to the floor. So you want your lower legs to go straight up and down if you can. So straight up and down like this. And let yourself play for a moment as a happy baby. Perhaps rocking side to side. Perhaps making baby sounds if you want. Putting your big toe in your mouth. And bring the soles of the feet together. Clasp outside if you can reach the outside edge of your feet. Otherwise, you can use a strap wrapped around the outside of your feet. Draw the feet in toward the belly. Press the knees out away from you. Yeah. But bring the soles of the feet together. Soles of the feet together. Yes, that's it. So you're going to press your knees away. So bring your arms inside so that you can press the inner thighs away as you draw the feet in toward the belly. You get a little bit of a hip opening stretch here, a variation of Baddha Konasana. All right. And winding down with just a moment of spinal twist here. Release the hands from the feet and take whatever spinal twist feels yummy for you. So you can have both knees together, rolling down to one side, turning the gaze in the opposite direction, or you can have one leg straight, one knee bent. Some of you might like to do twisted root, legs and eagle legs, if you like that. Just taking a couple of breaths and a nice nourishing spinal twist on one side. In any of our twists, we want to have the backs of both shoulders anchored into the earth, and the head turns in the opposite direction of the knees. Releasing the twist on one side, explore that twist on the opposite side. Twists have a nice calming quality for the nervous system. And what you can do, if you find that your inner thighs don't want to come together in a revolved abdomen pose, you can just place a little blanket between the knees, and that just creates a little more ease in the twist. And let your feet come out a little this way, knees at hip height. Yeah. I invite you to bring your knees back to center and let the body melt into Shavasana. Just a few moments of integration. So the feet are going to be a little wider than hip width apart. Some of you may like to put a blanket underneath your knees, and or a bolster or rolled up blanket underneath your knees. Anyone here in the studio that would like that, just raise a finger in the air. That can sometimes help release tension in the low back. The toes are going to naturally flop out in opposite directions. Your palms are going to be turned up in that gesture of receptivity and openness, because what we are doing now is receiving the benefits of our practice. All of those postures have opened the body to that essential life force, prana. The practice of Shavasana is where we completely surrender into the inherent wisdom of that prana to go where it needs to go. To all of the 72,000 energy channels that make up your subtle body. Into every cell, every organ, every muscle, even into your bones. Allow that life force to come streaming in. No need to control the breath here. Just let the breath come to you in its own natural rhythm. Another way of trusting your body's inherent wisdom. Slowly begin to deepen your breath and bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Find some movement of the head side to side. And find any movement brings back into awareness of your body in present time. So maybe you want to hug your knees into your chest again. Give yourself an embrace. Maybe you want to take a long stretch like you're just waking up and make a little noise with that. Maybe you want to find one more exhale with that ah sound. And rolling over onto one side. Into the fetal position, which is the original yoga pose. And slowly allowing the body to transition to a seated position. Press into the mat with your upper hand. And I know we went a little bit over today. It was our first class, and an hour goes by fast. So it was a delight to practice with you. If you want to stay for meditation, you can just stay. If you need to slip out and go on with your day, that's fine. You'll receive the meditation in the video. And you folks going to stay for meditation? You're going to slip out? That's fine. You can, just leave as you need. It is a pleasure to have you here. So I'll just give you a moment to just transition, to get yourself set up for a few minutes of seated meditation. We'll do about 10 minutes. So I would like to invite you to either fold a blanket or to have a cushion, because we want to have the hips higher than the knees. So let me find a cushion for you. Either folded blanket or cushion. You okay on the folded blanket? All right, so any cross-legged position is fine. You just want to, again, invite that long and lifted spine. Beautiful. So notice if the body is going into Shlumpasana with the shoulders coming forward and the low back rounding. And you want to be on your cushion or blanket on the very front edge of it, so that those two pointer bones on the front of the hip kind of tilt forward just a little bit, and that will lengthen to the low back. See if you can experiment with that. And as you lengthen to the low back, that lengthening wants to telescope right up the spine. The shoulders roll back and down, so once again you have that nice wide open heart. The crown of the head lifts to the sky. And see if you can find in your body that sweet spot where you are able to hold the spine upright and erect with open heart, with length and space through your vertebrae, but with minimal effort. So you might need to experiment a little bit with noticing if you need to bring the shoulders forward a little bit, bring the shoulders back. Notice if your body has the tendency to be tilting to one side. The back of the neck wants to be long, so your chin wants to be level or even slightly tucked. Sometimes when we say lift through the crown of the head, people go like this with their chin, and that creates a kink in the back of the neck. So you want to keep that level so you have that nice long lift in the back of the neck. Let the jaw be soft, the lips gently closed. Eyes can be closed. That's the way I practice, but some people in some styles are taught to practice with eyes cast downward in front of you. And if you're more comfortable keeping your gaze softly fixed at a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you, that's fine. Or at the base of the nose, that's fine. I invite you to just notice the quality of your breathing. We're going to let go of any controlling the breath, any pranayama. Breath control. And just notice where you sense the breath in the body, where you notice its presence. It might be at the nostrils. It might be in the chest. It might be in the belly, rising and falling. Wherever you notice the awareness of breath most easily is where I invite you to rest your attention. Just allow yourself to get really curious about the quality of your breath. Notice if it's deep and slow. Notice if it's more shallow. After an hour of practice, the breath might not need to be so deep because you've oxygenated and pranified the body so deeply. So you might notice that the breath has a sense of softness and ease to it. Just notice what's alive in you and your breathing. And allow the mind to easily follow the breath in and the breath out. It may help to focus your attention by using the mental note, breathing in on the in-breath and breathing out as you exhale. Or simply just in, out. And when the attention wanders, which it will, gently and easily bringing your awareness back, breathing in, breathing out. No judgment, no struggle. Just gently and easily resting your awareness with the breath. And if your eyes are closed, just letting them open with a soft gaze. Let's bring the palms together. Honor yourself for being here and dedicating this time to your practice, honoring one another. Just in celebration of the life within us and around us, those of you who wish to can join me in closing our practice with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Namaste. The light in me sees and bows to the light in you. So lovely to practice with you this morning. Beautiful day. Okay.